Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane Fallout T-60 mech suit. This is a McFarlane Elite Edition. This is the third McFarlane Elite figure. I got this guy from the McFarlane toy store, utilized my Platinum membership discount and a $20 off reward, and got this guy for a pretty cheap price, about $35 after shipping and taxes. And I'd say, for that price, it's a great value. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, Fallout. I believe this is based off the video games, but it can easily be the show as well. They pretty much look the same. McFarlane Elite Edition. Here he is in the package. Tons of accessories. Hands, guns, sword, and more. One side of the package. Here's the helmet of the T-60 suit, the third McFarlane Elite figure. Other side, McFarlane Elite Edition. The back. Here he is, posed up with the others. This guy could make a pretty good army builder. And at the bottom, there's his barcode if it helps. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all the accessories laid out. He comes with a display stand, a collector's card, digital redemption card, 6 interchangeable hands, and a bunch of weapons, including a short plasma pistol, alien blaster pistol, laser pistol, T-60 pistol, Gauss minigun, light machine gun, and black diamond sword. Before I tell you all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is a T-60 mech suit from Fallout, specifically from Fallout 76 Wastelanders. Now I'm not really familiar with that game, really more so familiar with the TV show, and this guy works great as a mech suit from the Brotherhood of Steel. Could be an army builder, but I pity anybody army building these elite figures because that's quite expensive. So let's take a closer look. Now I do have some of the Fallout figures from the TV show, and I believe this guy is going to be the same base mold as the other mech suits. He's got the helmet, a little eyepiece on top, looks like a light up there. The shoulder pads are on their own sort of ball joint. They're going to move out of the way and not hinder the articulation. Big sort of chest piece here. I love the different sort of texture on the different parts. You can see the black part here, the black part here. The gray parts are pretty smooth. Now his paint job is sort of faded, like he's been in the desert for a while. That's probably pretty accurate. It has a weird sort of 50s sci-fi retro future look to him. Single jointed elbows, single jointed knees, big giant bulky feet, and they look very dirty, weathered from the desert. This is how they get into the suit. For the most part, it looks cool. Big, giant mech warrior. And a closer look at his face, helmet, and head sculpt, which is pretty good. Paint job has a little bit of weathering. Nice detail. I'd say as a whole, it's pretty well done. And then, here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. His backpack also comes off. It's not exactly a backpack. It's got this sort of lever here that you turn and then open up the back, and that's how a person gets into the mech suit. It'll plug in with this large peg on the back. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand, typical McFarlane display stand. This one says Fallout 76 on the bottom. Then we have his collector's card. As you can see, Fallout Elite Edition on the back. There is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. And then we also have this Elite Edition 50 points card on the back, scratched off, and redeem some points for the McFarlane toy store. Now let's check out his hands. He has a total of 6 hands, 3 left hands, and 3 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And then, with his second pair of hands, these are a pair of gripping hands with trigger fingers. And his third pair of hands, his right hand is a pointing hand, his left hand is an open hand. Now for a sword, this is a black diamond sword. Looks like sort of an energy sword. It has some writing on it. Schematic, soft landing, good detail on the handle. Other side is just blue. Here's the T-60 mech suit, holding that sword. Then, for some of his weapons, the one on the left is a short plasma pistol, and then an alien blaster pistol. Big, giant, sort of exaggerated retro tech. This one here, a little bit different shape. That's why it's called an alien pistol. Here he is, holding onto those two pistols. And then we have his next two weapons. On the left, we have a laser pistol. On the right, a T-60 pistol. And here he is, holding onto those two pistols. Next, we have this giant Gauss minigun. It's a very large, oversized gun. The barrel is super big. It still has that retro, sort of sci-fi futuristic look. He's going to hold it onto here. Here he is, holding onto that giant minigun. And finally, his last weapon, which is a light machine gun. It's a very long light machine gun. You see the handle here, a little drum or magazine on the side, and the barrel that goes on for miles. Here he is, holding that light machine gun. This guy is just a walking armory. Now to check out the reuse differences and similarities between this McFarlane Elite T-60 and the version from the TV show. This one is Maximus, but I put the helmet on. So let's take a closer look. So, obviously, the paint job is very different. He's got a metallic paint job. I'd say it's better on this guy. His head looks to be the same sculpt. The shoulder pads, the same. The arms look to be the same, except they did a little bit different here. This piece comes out, and you can replace it with the flame exhaust. His doesn't have that piece, so it's a different forearm. Hands are the same. Stomach's the same. And legs all the way down to the feet are the same. So they're pretty much the same figure, different forearms, different paint job. Of course, this guy has a swappable head with an unmasked head, and you could potentially add the flame effects to his arms, giving us now 3 different figures that utilize the same base body armored mech suit. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 7.9 or 8 inches tall, which can translate to about 20 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, he can rotate side to side. He can look up and down, not really. Shoulder pads, they're on a ball joint. They can rotate up and down. Shoulders go to about 90 degrees. Up, down, around. They go about this far before the shoulder pads are going to obstruct them. He does have a bicep cut under there. Single jointed elbow goes in about 90 degrees. No rotation, that's in the bicep cut. His wrist can rotate, and they are hinged, although mine's not trying to do very much right now. In his torso, he has a ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. That's it. The torso. Legs, they only go out about that far, totally obstructed from these side pieces here. They go forward, about that far, back not much. He's got a single jointed knee, and then his ankle, forward and back, a little bit of rotation, and that's about it. A little bit limited in the articulation, but you don't need a super Spider-Man level articulated mech suit. That is not how they moved in the game or show. Here's a look at this T-60 armored mech suit, going through the streets, patrolling, and then here's a few members of the Brotherhood of Steel, moving through the streets, protecting, honoring their mission. Now let's check them out. Next is some other action figures, starting off with some other Fallout figures. Here's this T-60 Elite Armored figure, next to the regular wave T-60 figures, Maximus and Hank McFarlane. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. This guy's an Elite figure, retailing for $50 or $60 depending on where you get him from. I got mine for considerably cheaper because of rewards, etc., etc. Now these other figures are retailing for $30 at Target. They're exactly the same body. Maximus even has the same helmet. Hell, they even have at least a couple of accessories. So what does this guy have that they don't? Well, the body is exactly the same, and the paint job is, I almost want to say, worse. He comes with tons of guns. I think he has 6 guns and a sword, and that right there is the main difference. You also get some Elite points to redeem, whatever, who cares. Is it $30 different between the two? Hell no. I almost wonder if these guys are underpriced at Target, but even the basic figures for $30, so I don't know. Even $30 versus $50, it's not worth the extra charge. Maybe $40, but long story short, these Elite figures are overpriced, albeit they are very nice. And then here he is, next to Steph Harper, Cooper Howard, and the Ghoul, giving us McFarlane's entire Fallout collection. we have the wave of 5 figures, and then we have 3 elite figures. We have this T-60 armor, there's also a Ranger, and then Lucy. Lucy and the Ranger haven't come out yet. And then just yesterday I saw a couple of 2-packs that were leaked online. A Right Ranger and Benny Survivor 2-pack, and then T-60 Vault-Tec and Soul Survivor 2-pack. Looking forward to adding those to the collection. And with Season 2 just around the corner, I personally would expect to get even more figures. Now let's check them out next to some other McFarlane Elite figures. Here he is next to the Doomslayer, which was McFarlane's first Elite figure. And here, next to Lilith from Diablo 4, this is McFarlane's second Elite figure, giving us McFarlane's entire Elite collection, figures 1, 2, and 3. I believe number 4 is the Ranger from Fallout, number 5 is the anime guy that I personally don't plan to get, number 6 is Lucy, and I don't think we've seen the 7th one. I would love to see them make at least one Elite DC figure. I thought this would be the perfect avenue to release an absolute Batman decked out with accessories. And honestly, none of these guys are worth the price. $50, maybe $60, maybe a little cheaper if you're lucky. They're well better than the average $20 or $30 figure, but I'd say maybe $40 is a fair price for these guys. And he totally reminds me of the Ironmonger figure from the first Iron Man film. Now let's check him out. Next is some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale, and even though he's considered a bit larger than 7 inches, he's still part of a 7-inch scale action figure line. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and then work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all McFarlane toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures and Diamond Select toys. Here's this T-60 mech armor, next to a lint roller. And here he is, next to some DC Direct and NECA figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, I'd say it's a very cool figure. The accessories are plentiful, the sculpt and paint job are excellent. I love that sort of retro, sci-fi, futuristic look. And the paint job, it's dull, but I think it's supposed to be that way because he's in a sort of post-apocalyptic, deserted wasteland, and it's going to sort of take its toll on the armor. I think it's a fantastic figure. The articulation is quite limited, but I'm okay with that. The thing moves very slowly and bulky in the games and the show, and it doesn't need to have Spider-Man level articulation. Now, if I were to rate this guy by itself, I'd say it's a good 7.5. It's a very nice figure. It looks awesome. Now, if you take price into consideration, it's going to drop the rating significantly because it's grossly overpriced. I think it should be $40, not $50 or $60. And don't get me wrong, I paid less than $40 even after shipping and taxes for it, but that isn't the asking price. If you go to Walmart, they have these Elite figures for $50. McFarlane Toy Store, $50. Big Bad Toy Store, probably $60. It's kind of ridiculous. So it's a nice figure. If you're a Fallout fan, you're definitely going to want this guy. And like I said, I pity you if you're going to hobby build this guy, because that'll be very pricey. Personally, I would love to have 3 or 4 of these guys. I think that would be awesome. But it's never going to happen, unless I find them at a deep discount, which I don't think is going to happen. Either way, it's a nice figure. It's just grossly overpriced, but if you're a Fallout fan, you definitely want this guy. And he comes with all the accessories you use to enhance the other T-60 figures from the regular wave. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.